Until December 21st, code Incon is 30% off your G Fuel. That's right, Papa Incon is turning into Santa to bring you all of your G Fuel formula that you need, so get it before the deal runs out. Hello everybody. We are here with your ARES guide, going to be taking him into the jungle for a little spice of life. ARES is actually one of the better Guardian jungles. A lot of people, when they think Guardian jungles, they think basically Ymir, but ARES has a lot of unique opportunities in the jungle because of his kit, which gives him a lot of leeway to kind of get some interesting strategies going for your team. So we're going to be starting off with our 3 here on the jungle ARES. Your searing flesh is the reason why you can get away with going jungle ARES, because this is, honest to God, one of the best jungle camp clearing abilities in the entire game. And the reason that it is because it does percent max health, and that percent max health, while it doesn't apply to like the Gold Fury or the Fire Giant, it does actually apply to the jungle camps. So you can see that we just cleared that ridiculously fast. Now I see that my Bologna is starting in lane, so I'm actually going to walk over and do the small camp before I go over here to do this blue buff. Gonna start the blue buff with a couple of autos, and then I'm going to press my 3. That way I make sure that all of those small minions get caught in the burn.
Good luck.
Grabbing our change at level 2, we're going to head right over to the old mid lane. We can see that the Nemesis is here already. Our goal is just basically to clear this wave ASAP. So we're going to walk up, use our flame on the wave, keep our chains for the PvP. Nemesis Baron is a little bit risky for us. I'm going to throw down a deep ward here. I'm not going to use my chains on this buff at all. I'm just waiting for my searing flesh to come back up to help burn this down. And we should be able to loop ourselves right back around to our own red buff for safety. So a lot of the ARES jungle is based around being able to go aggressively with your chains. And you can start going aggressive with those chains very early into the game. Now, a god like Baron is going to be quite well against us because he has absolutely no reliance on a movement ability. You're really looking to pick the ARES jungle into teams that are very heavily reliant on movement abilities. So ARES against a Arthur like they have over in solo, that's a really good matchup for us. The Nemesis, it's okay, we can stop her dashes, but Nemesis in general is good against the tankier characters. The Ganesh, that's totally fine. Danzaburrow, not a great matchup for us because he doesn't have a true movement ability. And then, of course, the Baron is a hard matchup as well because he doesn't have a true movement ability. He's just reliant on the speed that he gets from his 2, which our chains won't do anything to stop. Unfortunately, if you don't hit your chains, it doesn't actually stop anybody from happening. You knew I was coming over for the gank. While I'm here, I'm actually not going to back up at all. I'm just going to go for the blue buff. By this point, you will normally have back to get your tier 2 boots. But I went for the sneaky gank instead of going for the safe back. While your searing flesh is down, you're going to find that your jungle clear is pretty horrible. So if there's something that you can do in between major buff camps, I would recommend it. While your searing flesh is going to completely basically clear out one of these camps, when you're going for in-between farm, like one of these small camps, sometimes you want to not go ahead and use your searing flesh on these unless you're like preparing to back or something like I am right now, because oftentimes you're going to want to save that searing flesh for the actual buff camps themselves.
Yes.
Our goal right now is going to be cooldown above anything. So we got our blink, obviously, on Ares. This is going to be a normal active that you would grab on him, even if you were in the support role. You probably end up getting it second in support most of the time. Gonna skip these back left heartbeats and go straight to the red buff and try to get this down for my thought. The blink's gonna allow us to go in there and use our ulti and, of course, get in the range of our chains. And so we're gonna get a bunch of cooldown to go for more ganks. You're gonna wanna look out on the board on the active to see what everybody's got going for them. To see who your priority gank lane is going to be. So I can see that King Arthur has a blink and that Ganesh has shell. So neither of them are gonna be able to stop my ultimate pull. Nemesis's dashes are both down, so I'm gonna start chaining her through the wall actually, just to try to help out my Anhurt. And that is going to be enough to get the kill. A lot of people forget Ares chains do, in fact, go through walls. So don't be afraid to use them like that, because they do, in fact, work like that. I'm going to run out this Baron right now. I can't ulti and pull him, I imagine. He's probably got his ultimate or his beads up, but I might be able just to get a little bit of presence around here. That is a pretty aggressive play from our Sobek. Our Sobek's gonna die here. I'm gonna keep my eyes on Baron just to blink in here, and I'm gonna go right for the Searing Flesh. He only had like 1 HP left. I'm gonna ulti the Nem. I don't know if she has beads or not. There she goes. And now I know that the Nemesis beads are down. If she didn't have her beads up right there and she gets pulled, then I set up my chains perfectly and I don't even have to worry about hitting them because she'll be standing still right in front of me. Same reason why I didn't go to use my chains on the Baron. I saw that the Baron was 1 HP after the ultimate from Thoth. So instead of blinking in and going for the chain, which there's a potential chance that I miss, I simply blink in and throw down a Searing Flash because it's going to grab the kill and it's a 100% guarantee. Safety first.
Thanks.
I'm not leveling up my 2 at all right now. A lot of people like the Ares 2 ever since they gave it the HP 5, but I honestly think that that's because people think it's stronger than it is. So if you look at Ares 2, if we put 1 point into it, that's going to give us 25 HP 5. I feel like people think that means they're going to get 25 HP a second for the 7 seconds. Or for the 8 seconds this ability lasts. It's not how HP 5 works. HP 5 literally means hit points per 5 seconds. So the ability lasts for 8 seconds. This gives 25 HP 5. That means over those 8 seconds, you're regenning like 40 HP. And sure, having 40 HP is better than not having it, but it's really not that significant. 40 HP shouldn't really be the make or break for you. And so in the jungle role, I prefer to go more damage and not even really to bother with the 2. If I was supporting, I would get a point into the 2, less for the HP 5 and more just for the general protections and CCR and stuff. But in the jungle, I'm a lot of the time just going to be by myself. And so I am mostly just going for the damage output here, and that's going to come from leveling up my Searing Flesh. This is also going to help me in my jungle clear as these camps start to scale up and get a little bit tankier later in the game. After our boots, I'm going into a Spear of Desolation. Spear of Desolation is going to give me some nice flat pen to help out with our damage. Flat pen is really what we're looking for on a Guardian in order to get the damage out. Our damage isn't going to scale super well into the late game, but our early game damage is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And so flat pen is just going to be what we want to pair with that. Because people won't have protections built in the early game, we'll be able to do a lot more damage to them. Even characters like Arthur, he's only going to have the protection from his reinforced greaves. And for all stages of the game, this is going to help against the squishier characters, like the Danzaburo, who's not going to be building any protections. Now, I know that Arthur does not have any beads, so the only way he can immune this is if he has his ulti up. And so I just basically take the bet that he doesn't have his ultimate up, which means I once again do not have to worry about landing my chains. This is why you have to look at what actives people have, because knowing what actives they have will be able to influence your decision-making process.
On my way.
So I am not going to level up the ulti quite yet. We're going to level up our Searing Flesh first. So our level order on Ares jungle is 1 whenever you can. You grab your ulti at level 5. Then you rank up your 3 to max. This is going to increase these percent ticks on gods, which is super important. When you get that to max level, it's 3% HP per tick, which is flippin' insane. And you can see how efficiently we're still clearing out those jungle camps. Gotta give the Baron a little love right here. I don't want to go too crazy on him. As we mentioned earlier, Baron is actually a pretty dang good character against the Ares. Especially if my ultimate is down because I don't have a movement ability. He's going to be able to ulti me every single time unless I can hit him with the counter ult and use the CC immunity from that. But that's kind of a disaster to begin with.
Out of mana.
There's 2 major reasons why you would be picking the Ares jungle. One of them is just straight up, you do not have any magical damage on your team. He actually does provide a nice amount of magical damage. So let's say you're getting into a situation, you're like 4th, 5th pick, and you've got 3 physicals on your team, and maybe you've got a Guardian jungle. Maybe you've got like a Ganesh jungle, a Sobek jungle like we have this game. And everybody else on your team is physical. And you're like, I don't really want to pick another physical character. Then we have 4 physicals, and they're only going to build physical defense. And all the physical defense items are so strong. So instead of that, you go to pick the magical damage characters. And Ares is one of your choices. That is a totally fine situation for picking the Ares jungle. You can see that time, the Arthur had his ultimate up, and so he used his ultimate to CC immune my ulti right there. That's the one thing that he can do to stop my Ares ult. Another reason why you would pick Ares jungle is that you need some more frontline on your team. So even playing Ares as a more damage-oriented jungle character, you're still going to be fairly tanky by the nature of being a Guardian. You're going to have slightly tankier base stats. And by the end of the game, you're still going to have your 2 all the way ranked up. It's going to give your team protections. You've got a lot of CC in your kit. So maybe you need a little bit more frontline on your team as well. That's another great reason to pick the Ares jungle. Best case scenario, your team is lacking magical damage and it's lacking frontline. Maybe you've got a Hunter solo right now. There's a lot of Hunters popping up in really weird places right now. So maybe you've got a Hunter solo and you're like, dang, we really need magic damage and frontline. So then you're looking at characters that are Guardians. It's going to be your Areses, your Kabrakans, your Ymirs of the world. So if they've got a lot of dashes, absolutely no reason why you can't pick the Ares.
Enemy spotted.
So I'm going to grab me a point in my 2 right now just to have. I've got my 1 and my 3 all the way ranked up. The ulti is only going to give us a little bit of damage. You can see I'm a little bit scared right now of the Baron. This is what I was worried about. He was coming in for that big suck right there. I'm going to go for the ultimate on the Danza and the Nem. I don't know if they're active or not, but we're about to find out. Danza uses his ulti for CC immunity. I'm going to come in for a double chain on the Ganesh, and then I'm going to switch my target to the Nemesis here. Unfortunately, she has her shield up, but we're still going to get the kill. I'm still keeping my eyes out for the Danza. Should be able to land a couple of chains on him. Probably not going to be able to kill him, but I can start to use those chains for the wave clear as well to make sure that I grab this wave before I have to back. For our 3rd item, we're going into a Void Stone. This is going to give us some magical defenses against this Baron, who is one of the characters that I am most worried about. But more importantly, it's going to give us a significant amount of damage by giving us not only the stats from Void Stone, but we're also going to gain the additional 30 magical power from Ares' passive. Now with Ares' passive, you shouldn't only be focusing on auras. Auras are not the end-all be-all for Ares. They are a nice bonus,
Enemy missing.
but they're not necessarily a crucial component. So you shouldn't just be clicking on the aura tab and being like, okay, these are all the items that I'm going to buy. That's just not the situation you want to find yourself in Ares. There are still simply some items that are just better than others, regardless of the fact that they have an aura. But for our damage-oriented spec, a Void Stone is going to be perfect. It's going to give us a little bit of those magical defenses for against some of these boys. But more importantly, it is going to give us
Enemy spotted.
a bunch of damage because of the additional magical power we're going to get from it, because of the percent penetration that Void Stone is going to give us. Void Stone is 10% reduction. So this is an aura. This doesn't work like regular pen does. So percentage penetration would proc before flat penetration. But we're going to quickly get into this fight right now. I'm going to look for a chain here on the Ganesh. Not going to quite land it. That's okay. I'm not even going to have to ulti him right here. I'm just going to keep rushing at this Danzaburrow. Danzaburrow extremely susceptible to people just holding down the W key at him. I'm going to be able to get in range, hit him with the ulti, and unless his ulti is up, he's going to be a free kill.
Be right back.
Meet your end in fire. All right, let's go ahead and back it up. We're going to start working on some physical defenses. So you can see, even though I'm in the jungle, and even though I am going a more damage-oriented spec, I am not going a completely 100% damage-oriented spec. So back to our penetration talk. Percent penetration in Smite procs before flat penetration. So if you have an Obsidian Shard and a Spear of Desolation, you're going to get that percent... excuse me. You're gonna get that percent afterwards. So your flat pen is going to proc first, and then you are going to get the percent pen. So this is less effective overall. You would preferably want percent pen to be first, because if you had your percent pen first and then your flat pen, you would get way more out of it. Let's go through an example. So let's say you're going against somebody that has 100 protections. And you've got 20% pen and 20 flat pen, right? If your percent pen proc first and then your flat pen, you would get 20 from the percent pen off of the 100 and then another 20 flat pen. So that would be a total of 40 penetration. That is not how it works. How it does work is you get the flat pen first and then the percent pen. So the way that it does the math is it's going to take off the 20 from your flat pen, and then it's going to bring their protections down to 80, and then it's going to do the 20% pen. So that's only going to be 16 flat pen. So they're going to have a total of remaining 84 protections instead of 80 protections if it was the other way around. The reason why we love aura penetration combined with our flat penetration is because aura penetration procs first. So an aura just means if somebody is within range of you, they are going to have reduced protections. So because Void Zone is reducing 10% protections, back into our same example, if they had 100 protections, they're going to have 90 protections. It's going to do that 10% reduction, and then your flat pen is going to apply. So you're going to get that percent pen first, which is why it still pairs so well even with the flat pen. Gonna get a couple of chains here on the Baron. He's already down to half HP. I know he wants to ulti. I'm gonna force my ulti between me and Sobek. That should be enough to hopefully kill him. Might be able to burn him down right here with the last couple of waves. I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to pop my beads just to immune the slow so I can start to get out of the tower range, because that tower range definitely had an opportunity to kill me. Going to pop my 2 to give a little bit of protection and some HP 5 to my Sobek, who is getting a little bit low. And now we're just going to go ahead and keep standing back. For our 4th item this game, we are grabbing ourselves a mystical mail. Mystical mail is an aura, so we're going to get some magical power off of this item. We're also going to get some HP and some defenses, which is quite nice as well, because we don't really have any HP other than our Void Stone. And so this is going to give us a little bit more HP, just make us a little bit tankier. We combine this with our 2. Remember, if you land your chains before you press your 2, that gives even more protection. So by default, it's going to give me 40 protections at max rank. But you also get bonus protections if you press it after people are chained. And so we're going to get an extra potential 21 protections, meaning that this can actually give out 61 protections to me and the team. And so we have to factor in those protections with our build as well. So it's actually going to make us pretty tanky, even though we're not building that many tanky items. Mystical Mail is also going to give us some nice damage just around our character, which is going to combine with all of the other bleeds that we have. So we've got the chain damage going on. We've got the searing flesh bleed. We've got all sorts of just bleed damage. And so when we combine all of these together, it is really, really going to up our damage potential. Just by standing around people, we're going to be able to just be burning them down. You can see all these procs coming. Look at all these just numbers popping on him right now. Gonna go ahead and bring him down. I see Arthur's coming my way. I don't want to get too close to him. I see Danzabura is also over here, so I'm just gonna slowly kind of back it up. Now, the one thing you do need to be careful about if you're gonna go the mystical male route is you need to be careful of getting put into combat when you want to use your blink. This should be more problematic when you're trying to use your blink to get away than it is when you're trying to use your blink to initiate.
Attack fire giant.
So just be aware. When you're trying to initiate, you're probably going to be initiating from the jungle, over a wall, whatever, and it really shouldn't be that problematic. But if you are going to build a mystical mail and you're trying to run away from somebody, that's when it could become a problem, because you're going to be proccing that mystical mail on them, putting you in combat so you can't blink. So just keep that in mind. Right now, normally I would grab myself a Spear of the Magus. Spear of the Magus, not one of my personal favorite items in the game, but I do find it helpful for a damage-oriented Ares build. But this game, they do have a significant amount of healing. So they've got a Baron. Baron's healing is way better than you probably think that it is. He's being played a lot at extremely high levels right now because of how good his healing is. On top of that, they've also got Danzaburo is going to be building, he's of course got his Devo gloves, but he also has a heal built into his kit. For those that don't know, his 2 heals him. And then of course you've got other forms of sustain as well, like a Stone of Gaia on the Arthur. That's going to give him a pretty significant amount of healing. Going to chain the Ares through the wall, force his beads. I don't really do that much damage to the fire giant, so my goal is to just kind of peel people off. Arthur's forced to use his ultimate. Now we really need to make this fight happen. We need to probably get off the fire giant right here and just start going for the fight. So I'm going to try to chain as many people as I can. As soon as all those chains are out, I'm going to pop my 2, which is going to give out maximum bonus protections to me and my team. My target is going to be this Baron first, for he is the healer. And then we're going to follow up on whoever else is left. And now we can go right back to the fire giant in peace. I don't even mind if I really end up tanking this thing. That's exactly how you're looking for your Ares fight to go. So you want to land those chains. You want to throw out the cripples onto as many people as humanly possible. Force them to use their beats. Then you pop your 2 for maximum protections. And if you have your ulti up at that point, you can use your ulti if you didn't start with it. Now that we're into the ultra late game, our goal in these team fights is basically just to be a beads burner. So this is about the time of the game where your damage will start to drop off a little bit. And so you need to be a little bit careful. You're probably not going to be able to 100 to 0 people like you can for the first 15-ish minutes of the game. So start to be aware that people will get tankier. Even if you're ahead, people will start to catch up. So for my 6th item this game, I'm going to be grabbing myself a winged blade. If you look at their composition, you're going to see that they have a Nemesis. Nemesis is a character that will start to shred through me like crazy if she starts to ulti me. But if I have the wing blade online, I'm going to get that bonus movement speed combined with the bonus movement speed that landing my chains will give me. There's a good chance that I'll actually be able to kind of just kite her away and stay alive.
Attack right lane.
Not only that, but gods like Ganesh have a lot of slows as well. They just got a lot of generic slows on their team that could lead to death for me. So the wing blade is a nice safe item here. And like I said, my damage is already going to start to drop off. So building more damage right now isn't my main goal. My main goal is to just stay alive, to get out as much CC as humanly possible. Nemesis ulti is down through the wall. That's actually really nice for us. I'm preferring to stay out of combat right now so I can look for a blink hole. We've only got 4 of us. We don't have her and her. That means we don't have a super great Phoenix push right now. So I'm going to stand back. I'm just waiting for them to kind of use their abilities first. And once they start using some stuff, then we can really go in for a big blink ultimate play. So hopefully they've got some of their actives down at this point. It looks like they do. So we're going to be able to just start landing some chains and go around and grab ourselves a couple of kills. When you're using your Searing Flash, reminder that it does percent HP damage. So it's actually going to do more damage against tankier targets. So a target like Arthur, it's going to do more damage than it is doing currently to like this Baron. In the middle of a team fight, you always want to chain yourself multiple targets. Chaining multiple targets, greater sign, chaining the same target over and over again. Now, if there's obviously only one target, then that's going to be fine. We do need to be a little careful right here, actually. We should just attack middle lane. Their Dan is going to be respawning. We don't have our and her here, so we need to play it safe. Grab ourselves this mid Phoenix. And if they go too aggressive right here, we actually might be able to turn this one around. Focus needs to be on the Phoenix first. After the Phoenix, now we can start to look to actually go a little bit more combat oriented. I've got my ulti up in just 3 seconds. This is really what I'm mostly waiting for. Got to get those chains out as many people as I can. Unfortunately, there's going to be a good silence right there. Got to be careful about tanking the Titan. I don't have my beat or my ultimate up, so the Baron suck is going to be able to pull me right on into him. Arthur ultis, I'm getting a little bit zoned up by the Danza Burrow. Gonna throw down the ulti through the wall for the CC immunity. I'm gonna grab myself a couple of people as well. Reminder that ARES ultimate was changed a little bit back so that it does go through walls. So that Baron sucked me right to the wall, which basically gave me the opportunity to go ahead and grab myself a bunch of people through that wall. Now, this game is not over yet. We gotta be a little careful. But if we can kill this Arthur, then we can probably end this game. We have a couple of creeps over on that left-hand side, so we should grab this left-hand side Phoenix. I'm unfortunately tanking right now. We need our Anhur to be focusing on this Phoenix. There we go. He grabbed himself the kill. Now he's focusing on Phoenix. We're very low, but we've got a bunch of creeps flowing into the Titan room. So what's probably going to happen here is a couple of us are probably going to die, but whoever is remaining should be able to go ahead and finish up the Titan at this 26-minute marker.
You took a page right out of my book.
ARES, the beads and active burner. Pick them into compositions that have lots of movement abilities, preferably jumps, but dashes works fine as well. Do not pick them into comps that are very heavily based around movement speed. Baron's a scary character for you. Gods like Kukulkan, anybody that does not actually have to use a leap, because you will not be able to have nearly as big of an impact on the game as you would like. And also make sure that when you're looking to pick them into team comps as well, pay attention to how many CC immune ultis they have. If they don't have CC immune ultis, then all they're going to be able to do against you is pop their beads. Beads have a very high cooldown, so you're going to be able to get a lot of damage off that way as well, and a lot of opportunities open up around the map. For our last item, we would have gone ahead and sold our Shoes of Focus and grabbed probably another defense item. For me, this probably would have been a Mantle of Discord this game. Mantle of Discord would have kept me at that 30% CDR with a red pot. I had 20% CDR in that build. Replacing the Shoes of Focus with 10% with a Mantle of Discord 10% brings me up to 30%. I don't want less than 20% CDR on the ARES jungle. 40% isn't necessary, but the closer you can get it to 40, the better. Wouldn't recommend going something super cooldown heavy though, like a Chronos Pendant. That's just asking for trouble, guys. And that is our ARES jungle guide.